EpicBalla, Drop in the Kitchen, episode 5. A year of doing this show. Happy holidays, happy new year, all those great things. Like I said, again, a year of doing this beautiful show. Magnificent people. Today's guest is magnificent in every way. He is special. He has a beaming aura that shines like a star. He is just magnificent. His year has been tremendous. I've seen him graduate, have a new addition to his family. He also went to the mountaintop when he introduced the world to cornrow. If you know, you know. He was just magnificent in every way, and yet and still, you still can find him giving his tutelage, whooping on people around this great community, loving on us, and just being tremendous in every way. Just as Chile has the Andes and the Wasatch has the mountains, this guy's been to the mountaintop, and even though he's at the mountaintop, he still desires to look up. And him desiring to look up allows him to look right next to us and shine that beautiful aura that he has upon us all. He is magnificent with the paddle. It's like Thor has a hammer, Wonder Woman has a whip, you know, Hulk smashes, Captain America has his shield. This gentleman is superhuman-like with that gearbox paddle in his hand. What can I say? What can't you say about this man? He is an example in every way. A wonderful father, wonderful husband, wonderful friend. We all know him and we all love him. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about this dude. He is just beautiful in every way. World, because we all know him. Get to know Mario Barrientos.
Hey. Hey, thank you.
Yes,
hey, that was
yes.
a great introduction. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
I'm excited to be here with you all. EpicBalla since, like you said, a year ago.
Yes.
I've been watching it grow, watching you guys around the community,
Yes.
bringing people together, bringing people, making people better in the community, and I love that. So I'm happy to be here with you all and
Yes.
ready to share my experiences and share my love with all of you.
You are the pillar of that. You embody that in every way. I don't know how you have the energy for everyone and the kindness to give everyone that same genuine, space of who you are. That's amazing. It's a privilege. It's an honor to have you in here. Let's tell your beautiful story and who you are and how you came to be the special person that we so love.
Yeah, my story began all the way back in the 90s, back in Chile. Santiago, Chile. Have you heard that song, Started from the Bottom?
Yes.
Never hear? Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's how it was.
Yes.
It's funny because growing up in Chile, it's different. The life, the situations, the environment is different. So growing up, I really didn't play a lot of sports at the level that people play here in the U.S. Growing up in a middle, low class, basically what happens if you don't have money, you don't play sports. That's it. We play a lot of soccer. That was every day almost, but no racket sports. So that's kind of one kind of funny thing that people ask me, like, oh, you're good at pickleball, you should be really good at tennis, or you play tennis, you play ping pong or whatever. No, I didn't play any of that.
Wow.
I only grew up playing soccer,
Yes.
basketball, and just anything that you could do without equipment, basically.
Understood.
And the one thing though is that I was always super athletic. I was good at all the sports that we could do, but I never had the opportunity to really focus on one sport and just kind of now train just for that sport, So I actually always wondering, what would happen if I wouldn't grow up here, and really dedicate myself to one sport since a young age. But it doesn't matter anymore, because pickleball. Once I came to US, in about 2020, and I started playing pickleball, it all changed. I actually had the opportunity to start playing competitively and training for this sport. So that's kind of how my story began, being athletic since the beginning, since I grew up back in Chile, not being able to play until I came here to US, and I had the opportunity to start playing this beautiful sport that we all love.
So Mario, Mario. How'd you get the name Mario?
Mario, it's because of my grandpa. My grandpa. Well, that happens not a lot, but my grandpa wasn't even called Mario.
Okay.
But I mean that was his nickname. But everybody knew him by that name.
Awesome.
His real name was Jose, but everybody knew him by Mario. I don't know why actually.
Yes.
But some people didn't even know his real name. You know, so that's where my name comes from.
So tell me about your awesome parents. You seem to have a really tight, close-knit family. Even with your family, you guys are really close and attached. You are the middle of 3 siblings.
Yes.
Tell me about your siblings and your family coming up.
It's been great. You know, we grew up really close. My older sister has kids now, has 3 kids. My younger brother, he's in school. He's studying to be an English professor, actually.
Hey.
So it's been great. Growing up, we were super close. When I came to US, though, I just came by myself, and all of them are back there.
Yes.
So that's kind of interesting dynamic.
Yes.
Because when people ask me like, would you go back or do you miss? You know, I miss the food and stuff. But the thing you miss the most is the family. You know, and I help them come. That brings me joy. You know, to help them come here and visit us, stay with us. Because it's easier for me to help them come than for me to go now.
Yes.
So yeah, we're close. They're super happy. You know, my dad grew up also kind of similar conditions that I did, and he always dreamed about playing a sport and professionally, you know, and traveling and all that. And when they look at me, they're proud. You know, they're happy, and they love that I've had this blessing of playing this sport and at the highest level.
Getting into your adolescence, and when did you realize like faith is like a part of us and our everyday life? And when did you like faith become a part of your everyday existence, or like shape your life?
Well, it started at a young age. My parents grew up Catholic.
Yes.
So we had a really big Catholic influence growing up. So we were like always kind of remembering stuff and what to do and things like that. Then my parents joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we started going too. But it was funny because I went to a Catholic church, a Catholic school. So I was actually in charge of the Catholic like religion in class. You know, I was the main guy. So I was always like trying to get everybody to go to church. You know, or when we would go to church, I was the person in charge of making sure everybody would take I don't know how to say it in English, but the sacrament.
Yes.
Yeah, the sacrament.
Yes.
At a Catholic church. So I was always really involved. But the key point was when I met my wife. Actually, she's kind of my rock, and she helped me get in line. It's not that I wasn't in line, but you know how it is. You know, your wife or somebody, you know, brings you down, you know, and brings you down in a way of, how they say, like grounds you,
yes.
You know, and makes you see the things that really matter. Absolutely. You know, and I think that's my wife, and through the faith, you know, that we have. Yeah. She's kind of that rock that helps me see things in perspective or make the right decisions here. So it's kind of, she was the one that really made the person that I am right now.
Tell me about that beautiful relationship. Tell me how, you know, you met your wife, and can you tell me about that? How you guys met? And
it's an interesting story. When I just came to US, 2016 December, I met her like 15 days after I came here. I met her right off the bat, you know, and we've been together since. You know, it was funny because when I came, and I don't want to get into my story why I came. That's another podcast. That's another episode. It's a long story.
Yes.
But when I came, I didn't want to stay. You know, I just came to get a degree, and my boss was waiting for me back then. He signed a contract for me. He was like, go get a degree, come back, and I'm going to give you like a big raise. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want. So when I came, I met her, you know, and I knew we were like dating, and getting to know each other for about a year, or it was almost 2 years before we got married. But around a year or so, I told her like, hey, I'm leaving, and I don't want to stay here in U.S. I have things to do back there. But love's strong, you know that.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
So that's kind of how I met her, and she, as I said before, through meeting her, she met me at my lowest,
Yes.
not only spiritually, but also financially. Imagine me coming here to US with basically nothing, just enough to eat. What I would for like a year and a half, all I ate was cereal.
Yes.
And these oatmeal packages, because I didn't have money to pay for college, and that was my mission here. So she met me at that point. I was skinnier too because I didn't eat much, and it was funny because sometimes she would come give me like clothes and stuff, and I was always like, wow, that's nice, like I wonder why. And then years after, she would tell me like, oh yeah, because I saw you always wearing the same socks, the same shirt, like you didn't have anything else. And I'm like, yeah, like I didn't have anything else, but it makes sense. Like you saw me at that kind of point in my life, and she really believed in me and stayed with me till now, where it's a much different situation. So it's a big love story.
It's so good to have somebody believe in you.
Yes.
And to have somebody like, especially, you coming to find pickleball and you playing at its highest heights, and you being, going through that evolution, and you going through that evolution with somebody who believes in you.
Yes.
Can you tell me about some of the most rewarding moments?
Yeah, the family was actually crucial, because when we met pickleball, we were together, with my wife, and we started playing at the Provo Rec Center. Every morning I would go play. We would go play with my wife. We would get schooled by these like 80-year-old Korean ladies. I think they still play there. They would school us every day, and they would teach us the ways. Big shout out to Norm Chambers too. He was one of my mentors growing up in the sport. But yeah, now that you mentioned that, there's one thing that I really remember. One day we were watching pickleball, and I remember my wife putting on the game, and I was like, it's gonna be a boring game. I know who's gonna win, and like it's gonna be a bad game, That's what I thought. And she was like you can't say that, She was like, do you think when I go watch you, like you think that I go and I'm like, Mario's gonna lose, like he's bad. These guys are much better than him, and that really made me think, like sometimes when I saw the people playing, I was like, these guys are going to lose. Sometimes I would go in the court playing against Matt Wright or Ben Jones or Riley Newman, and these guys are the best, and I would see the draw, I would be like, I'm going to lose, She really taught me that, like, you cannot go defeated before you even go in the court, like you have a chance at that, Yes. So that really was an important moment for me. And I remember that because 2021, if I'm not wrong, we beat Ben Jones, Yes. and Ben and Colin, we beat him, with my partner Austin Gridley. That was in Vegas, and I remember that. I remember my wife being there, and she didn't tell me, I told you, but we were like, hey, it's possible, like it's possible to be great at this sport, but it all starts by you believing in yourself, and same thing for others, having that faith that, hey, everybody can be really good, and that's what I tell all the people, when I train with them or something, I tell them, hey, it's possible, you just have to kind of believe in you, because right now there's no limits, for pickleball.
Tell me about the early stages of you, like, again, this question kind of goes on the same, but you really realizing that you're really good.
I remember exactly, maybe not a specific moment, but months, Back then when I started in 2020, I remember maybe around 2020, there wasn't much of a big tour, like a big pickleball tour around the US. I think PPA and APP were like in the early beginning stages. So there wasn't much of a big tournaments that you could go. it was all local tournaments. Like I remember going to the Pleasant Grove tournament. That was like a big one, indoors. It was funny. Now nobody wants to go. Maybe I don't know. Nobody wants to go there, but nobody likes to play indoor anymore much. So that was like a big one indoor. Pleasant Grove, Brigham City. There were tournaments there in Utah. Kaysville. St. George. Those were like the big tournaments back then. So I started going to all the tournaments, and I started all the way from the bottom, 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, 4.5, until 5. When I got to 5, I really started traveling in Utah, like within Utah. So I went to like Kaysville, Brigham City, St. George, and I started like winning all the tournaments, like at the 5.0 level at that time. And when that happened, since I didn't skip any of the steps, any of the levels per se, that really kept me humble, because I was going to play like a 3.0, I would lose, I would stay there until I won, till I won. Then I would go play 4.0, same thing, 4.5. So when I got to 5.0, I felt like I was really in a good level. And me kind of realizing that I was winning all the tournaments in Utah, where the level is really high, that made me think at that point, especially after winning, I remember winning men's and mix in this tournament that's called like the Pickleball Shootout in St. George. They still do it, After that tournament, I was like, hey, I think I can really get a future in this sport.
I've watched you this year be a super ambassador to the game, teaching young people, older people. How was it to be in that space?
Yeah, I've had the blessing of going to, all over actually. This year I went to Puerto Rico, I went to Hawaii, New York, here in Utah, California. It's great. I love it. That's one of the things I love in general in my life. I like teaching. Even at church, sometimes I teach, and my wife says I'm a really good teacher. I don't know if she says it because it's me, but I like teaching.
I don't mean it, but you're a natural. Where does that have you always had that charisma?
I enjoy watching people laugh, and things like that. And I think maybe that has to do with being like a class clown. Is that how they call it? Growing up, I was always making people laugh, and just kind of jokes here and there. I always tell my wife, hey, I make you laugh a lot. You gotta know that, it's just by coming into teaching, I think the key for me is that I literally didn't play any racket sports before playing pickleball, So when I tell them, this is the first things I tell them all the time when I teach. I'm like, hey, there is hope for you. There's hope for everybody. Because I didn't have any racket sport background, and I got to play really good, so that's what I tell everybody. And just coming from that background just gives you a different perspective, because I didn't learn the strokes from tennis. Actually growing up in the sport, or in the beginning when I was learning, I used to play really awkwardly, even now maybe I don't play like a tennis player does, and I have these really awkward shots and stuff like that, because I didn't have those mechanics, coming from another sport. And just learning kind of the hard way how to get rid of bad habits, or how to learn things kind of from the early stages, that gives me another kind of perspective, another point of view. When I need to teach people how to do it, I already went through it. So it's not like I have to teach them how to hit a forehand drive from a tennis perspective, where it has all this almost scientific ways of hitting it, I know what works, because that's what I did. Yes. So I can teach people what actually works, and that makes it way easier. And just seeing people that they learn how to hit a drop shot, or how to dink, or how to hit a drive in really simple steps, that makes me really happy. And just kind of mixing that with jokes and making people enjoy the lessons when I give them to them, it's just rewarding, so I love that, and I like doing it. I love it.
That sincerity that you share with people is really special. You have a unique style. There may be a few people that play like you, how do you find yourself translating the teaching to people when you play such a unique, like ability, like that's a little different than everybody else?
Well, yeah, it's sometimes it gets
Yes.
it gets hard to replicate exactly the game style or things like that. But I like just going over the kind of the fundamentals of the game,
Yes.
and just leaving the person applies or leaving like every individual in pickleball will have their own style, their own game style, But there's some things that you gotta have. Otherwise, you won't be able to make it to the pro level,
Yes.
And most people want to make it to the pro level, even for the people that don't want to make it to the pro level. If you want to be good, everybody wants to be better. There's some things that you need to do a certain way, like the strategy of the game or the certain shots, I don't want to get technical, but to make it up to the net or to play at the net, to defend at the net, or to what to do when you're back. So kind of when I teach, I like to teach those fundamentals, but then let them loose, and you apply your own style, but without those specific things, For example, the specific things that Ben Jones does so well, that makes him so good, we can learn those from him. We can learn maybe some others just from other person, but then you apply it in your own way, and I think that completes the whole learning process. You learning from somebody and then taking the best out of them or those fundamentals, and then just having those fundamentals and you building on top of that.
You've seen pickleball grow in such a huge way, from 2020 till now. You just saying there were only a few tournaments, and like this year there's so many tournaments, and even next year you see the Worlds and different pickleball going to other places. If you can, talk to me about the excitement that exists within pickleball, the growth of it, how you've watched it grow in its infant stages until today.
Yeah, it's been great. There's a good side and there's a negative side about it. Let me start with which one do you want first?
Let's go with the good.
The good side. Yeah, the good side is that pickleball is growing. There's more money for the players that only do pickleball, and that's great. That makes actually, I think, a professional sport. I think I just saw the statistics from the PPA. I think they're paying more than women NBA or some other leagues, and people say, hey, that's just pickleball. Yeah, this is just pickleball, and there's a lot of money into it, So that's great, I think, for the sport, for the players, because players now can do this as a full-time job, So that's great for them because it's giving an opportunity for people like me that maybe didn't have the chances or couldn't play professionally in other sports. They found their sport here, and that's great. Not only that, but also in the communities. We have in Utah, we have courts everywhere. It's great to just go out and meet more people, and people are building so many courts in their backyards now too. The growth is just spectacular, and I think it helps everybody. There's more tournaments. There's more chances of you proving your skills. If you're really good, you have plenty of opportunities to go and become a professional. There is leagues, there is pros. Here in Utah, we have 4, 5, 6, 7 pros, that are at the top of the sport. We got Tyler Lung, that's at the top of the PPA, men's side, Kyle Smith, Elise, Eda, Chuck, Spencer Smith, they're all here, and having them here, sometimes you see them training, sometimes you can play with them. It's just great for the sport overall.
Super special.
When do you have the chance of playing? I don't know. If you play basketball, you'll never play. I mean, it's really hard to get to play with anybody from the NBA. I think maybe impossible.
Yes.
But in pickleball, it's different, and it's just like growth. There's so much growth in the sport, and also because it's just so fun. Like everybody loves it, and people have fun, young ages, old ages.
Yes.
Everybody enjoys it. So I think that the growth is great. It's good for the people that take the sport as a profession.
Yes.
And great for the people that take it just to have fun.
Hate to go on to the negative. I hate to go to the other side of the coin, but what is it, the negative aspects of the growth?
Yeah, the negative aspect, in my opinion,
yes,
is that there's pressure now. There's a lot of pressure, peer pressure too, for players. So there's a lot of players I've met that have the vision, to go pro at one point, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. and that comes with the growth of the sport too. But the issue in my mind is that there's so much pressure, peer pressure, that you have to make it quick, like I think like it was done years ago. For example, when I started, you didn't have to play qualifiers. You just sign up, and if you were in the top 30, boom, you're in. That's it. There's no qualifiers, there's nothing. So that helped the people that started earlier, because, for example, myself, there's tournaments that I don't even have to play qualifiers just because I've been playing for longer. Now it's harder, and there's the pool of players, of great players. It's so big now that there's a lot of pressure between them. And I think that creates stress for the players, or creates this just how can I say it? Like this mindset that you need to get sponsor, or that you need to go to these tournaments. You need to spend all this money because you have to, because your peer is doing it, so you have to do it too. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And that can drive people to the wrong path.
Yes.
Because that pressure is just like how can I say it? Like the sponsorships. Like there's so many people sponsorship now. The brands are sponsoring gear, and some other giving money. And when there's money, it gets tough. So I don't like it, and it's sad, when people compare to their peers, because hey, my friend has a sponsorship, I don't. He's better than me, just because he has a sponsorship, or he went to this tournament. I don't know. He beat this team. He made it out of the qualifiers. They're better than me because I didn't go to the tournament. No, it's not like that. Especially I think the sponsorships thing. It's kind of a big point of pressure for players. Absolutely. Where they tend to compare each other with others because you have this sponsorship, you don't, so he must be better. And when it's not that way, that's not the reality. Okay. Sponsorship is a lot of who you know, who you don't know. But I think that's the hard part of the sport. Just managing your expectations too. It's true that you can go pro and you have a chance to go, but now with so many people joining, it's getting harder and harder again. And I don't want to take credit away from myself, but when I started, it was much different. Like I said, you would just sign up and automatically you're in. And luckily for me, we had some really good wins during that stage that kind of set the tone for the future. But now, the bigger the pool of better players get, the harder it is to make it out of there, Yes. And managing those expectations is hard. It's I don't want to say it's like tennis maybe, but in tennis you have to basically start, based on what I've heard, all the best players start since they're little kids, and they're the best in like 13, 14, 15, 16 until one day they make it to the pro tour. Pickleball is not at that level yet, but it's kind of getting there. It is. Close, like slowly getting there, and managing expectations by new players that want to go pro. It's hard, and the sponsorship especially and things like that. So it's just that pressure among players, competitiveness among players, which is not bad, but if you take it in a negative way, it might destroy you, or might destroy your, I don't know, your dreams, which is not good.
Pickleball, it's growth, but it's not only growing on like the pro level, it's growing, with communities alike, and so many people are playing, especially here in our backyard. We have to me, the best place in the world, the best people, the most robust talent. I'm biased, obviously.
Yeah.
But tell me how, just how you see it shaping like relationships.
Actually, maybe going back to the other, kind of this ties back to the other question, that's kind of one of the things that might be getting lost slowly. It's the sense of community. Pickleball is showing up to the courts and you just playing with whoever shows up. We're not discriminating, because you're Hispanic or you're Asian, black, white, doesn't matter, That's right. That's what pickleball is. And here, especially in Utah, that's the core of it, and hey, like I said, when I started, these seniors were schooling me all the time. So that's what it is, and it's great. It's great about pickleball. That's what makes it a great sport, and I think that's what makes it so lovable. Is that a word?
Yes,
Like people love it because of that, because they make friends, and hey, my entire circle of friends, they're all pickleball players, like that's the people I hang out every night, I see them every night, I drop in, shout out to Club Pickleball USA for that, and things like that. So that's what it's all about, and I think that's one message that I would like to give, is that we need to strive and we need to work hard, to maintain that love of the game and that community sense, that welcoming, like big welcome to all the players, to our circle, and being friendly with them, and just making it a big community, a big friendly community, instead of making it, it's all about me getting better, winning, and going pro. I think that's my vision about it.
Why? What drives you? What inspires you to be that?
I think it has to do with humble beginnings. Growing up, not having much. And just being blessed to have more now. Recognizing that I'm here because other people helped me. My wife, some other people I met along the way. That they all, my parents, that they taught me the way to be humble, and to accept that you're not doing things by yourself, or God, that puts people in your way, and you're learning from them. You met somebody here, you met somebody there, and they kind of lead your path, to success. So I think that's a big thing for me, is that recognizing that I didn't do this by myself. It's a group. What's the saying? It takes a village to raise a kid. And I think that's kind of how it was in my life. And recognizing that now that I'm here, or I got to won this big tournament in New York, or this other tournaments, or I got to be good in pickleball, it's not just because of me. It's not because I was like miraculously good. It's because there's people that have been on my way that have blessed me to be that way, and I just want to give back. And I have two big friends, Matt Anselmo and my friend Kim from San Francisco, and they're my mentors, and that's one of the things they always tell me. You gotta give back. You gotta give back to the community. Give back to the people. Give back to even if you don't know them. You gotta give back, and that's kind of that really grew on me. When I started to playing pickleball, as I said, it was different. We didn't have much chances of learning from the best players around because it was so small, And I didn't like that, I wish that when I started, I could have played with, I don't know, one of the top players, and that would have been great for me. And I didn't have the chance, so kind of looking back now, when I'm not the best, I know, but just being in a position where I play like pro tournaments and stuff like that, it just feels good to look back and say, hey, I'm here because of all these people. You better give back to the community. You better help them, empower them. That really makes me feel good.
Oh, you have done that. You empower us, and I say us, speaking for so many people that I know that you empower. In the future, what's in the future for you?
I'm gonna be playing. For now, I'm only gonna be playing APP. Yes. For the near future. What I mean by that is the first tournaments of the year, next year. There's a couple I have set up with good partners. I think the first 2 or 3 APPs, a couple are gonna be in Florida, and then there's a couple in California that I'll be doing. So yeah, I'll definitely be playing at least once or twice a month.
Yes.
But in March or April, I think I'm gonna have a big time off from work. And guess what? All I'm gonna do is play pickleball. So I'm gonna be traveling again. Hopefully, we can do something similar to the travel we did this year, where we travel abroad, even and teaching and playing and meeting people here, meeting people there. But yeah, definitely, I'm gonna be playing in the tour. As I said, in the APP for the first tournaments of the year, and we'll see after that. But yeah, I graduated. I have a job. I'm an accountant.
Love it.
And so definitely that takes some time away. But but it's okay.
Tell me about fatherhood.
Yeah,
Tell me about-
fatherhood is the best. You know, is
Isn't your pops in town too?
he left already.
Oh, excuse
he
me,
left already.
excuse me.
My mom's still here.
Cool.
Fatherhood is the best. It just builds you. You know, helps you. I take it this way: if you have two people, you know, two men, one of them is the father, the other is not. The one that is a father, they can just develop so many skills, you know, that there is no other way to develop if you're not there, you know. So it's just being a father just helps you responsibility wise, you know. They depend on you, you know. So it's like you learn a whole range of other skills and tactics and techniques and things that there's no other way to learn it. So that's really fulfilling, you know, and then seeing them there and see your wife happy, your kids happy is just the best, you know. So it's almost Pickleball almost gets as good as that, but being a father is the best.
So we're gonna go to a part in the episode where we go to people who love you and dearly and who will shed a little light to who you are.
Nice, yeah.
Hi, my name is Tevita Tangulu Jr. I met Mario back when he was still a 4-5 player. It was outside. First thing I noticed about him was kid's good. And then I want to say about 3 months later, he was on the pro circuit. So that kid was really good. Only thing I have to say about Mario is one of the most humble people that I've ever met. I appreciate him and his humbleness and the way that he reaches out to the community and keeps the community close. Mario, thank you so much for being who you are. Appreciate you.
Hey, what's up? My name is Mick Phoenix. How do I know Mario? I saw Mario taking souls back in 2019, 2020, was it? 2020? COVID days, he was out breaking the law, playing pickleball when he shouldn't have been. That's why he got so much better than everyone else. When we were all locked up, he was out living on the pickleball courts. But yeah, we saw him in Orem, and I think that's where we met. What a gentleman, man. What a gentleman. So yeah, I'm delighted he's having all the success, and I wish him more. And a boy Mario.
I'm gonna break a bunch of hearts, but I'm gonna tell you the truth about Mario. This is gonna be ugly, but it needs to be said. My name is Juan. I wanted to say that guy is legit. He has great skills. He's an amazing player, and he's humble. I think that's the best thing about him. Plus, he's from South America, so he's my fellow South American friend. So keep killing it, brother. You're amazing.
Hey, my name is Lofi. I met Mario maybe about 2019, and he's been a real cool guy. I've actually met him just playing randomly, just dropping games like as you can see right now. But it was a real nice guy. He took time out of his day just to play with random people, even though he's a professional. You know, the guys like me, we dream of it, but just to have someone like that on your side, that's just that knows that you can reach it. Makes me feel special. But he's also taught me a whole bunch drilling in the mornings, and obviously conditioning. Oh my gosh, conditioning is crazy. But he's took time out of his playbook and his schedule to make guys like me believe that there's better things to come in the future as long as you put time and effort into it. But yeah, to me, I feel like even though he's a pro, well, he should be like all the other pros doing busy stuff, but takes time out of his day to put time for us simple guys. I feel like he's a people's champ. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kai Ululekepa.
And I'm Mac Ululekepa.
We met Mario. Well, I met Mario at a different time than he did, but I just knew Mario from Club Pickleball USA. Everyone knew that he was the local pro. He has helped the pickleball community here at Club, especially midnight drop-ins. He brings out everyone's A game. Everyone tries to play good and better when they play against Mario. He's always talking to everyone. I never see him sitting by himself. He's always standing next to somebody, talking to someone, getting to know them, and that's what makes Mario great, in my opinion.
Mario. Very first time I met Mario was in drop-ins like 3 years ago, and he was playing with his wife Steph, and I was playing with my cousin, and we didn't know he was a pro. He might have been still like upcoming, but we played him, and we're like, who is this guy? He thinks he's all that and stuff, but he wasn't. He was super nice, but we were just getting mad because we were competitive. He was killing us, and still killing us today. I love Mario. The only pro that'll play with the locals, to be honest, because I don't see or ever hear about any other pros that plays with the drop-in people. So great guy, love him. Appreciate. He's taught me a lot. I've drilled with him a couple times, and that 1-2 drilling sessions, I level up quick, like a lot.
I also was gonna add, we got the opportunity to get to know Mario off the court, him and his wife Steph, and they're great people, super nice, and Mario's off-court personality is really funny, and he's able to show that here with the community and show them how he is off court, which is really cool to see.
I remember meeting Mario back in, I'm going to say 2016, 2017, out at Sharon Park in Orem. My name's Norm Chambers. I'm one of the original players that got to teach Mario how to play down there. It was one of the first years I was playing outdoor ball. We used to play indoor ball before that, and within a matter of hours or days, Mario was already ahead of me, even though I had 3 years of pickleball on him. And the thing I like about Mario is he always treats everybody like they're great and that he wants to play with everybody. He comes down and plays with 3-0s and whoever wants to team up with him. He even still plays with me. And we love Mario because of how he treats everybody. And it's fun to just get on the court with him or against him. And if you're against him, your main goal is to get a couple of points. If you're with him, your main goal is to just give him room to work his magic. So, love you, Mario.
Hola, soy Mauricio Barrientos, papá de Mario Barrientos, y quiero decirle de que he tenido la oportunidad de poder ver el pickleball en su esencia. He podido ver a Mario durante todos estos años, verlo cómo él ha progresado mentalmente, físicamente, intelectualmente y también en sus golpes. Lógicamente la práctica lleva a la perfección y he podido sentir que este deporte es un deporte absolutamente de inclusión. Eso de que pueda jugar cualquier persona de cualquier edad, pequeños o adultos, es fantástico. Y lo más importante de esto es que yo he podido comprender y entender que mi hijo, a través de estos años, ha conocido personas maravillosas, de mente sana, de espíritu competitivo, pero de mucha lealtad. Y la caballerosidad que hay en este deporte realmente es fantástica. Quiero decirles que saber que mi hijo ha podido llegar a poder competir en una alta competencia en Estados Unidos, para mí es un motivo de mucho sentimiento especial hacia él y hacia las personas que se han rodeado con él. Muchas gracias, que estén muy bien.
Hola, soy Ángela, la mamá de Mario Barrientos. Yo soy de Chile y estoy de visita aquí en Provo, Utah. Siempre me ha gustado que Mario pueda incursionar en otra área, aparte de ser padre y contador, que también practique pickleball. Mario siempre fue de niño, le gustaron mucho los deportes y básquetbol sobre todo, pero cuando nos contaba que iban a jugar pickleball no lo entendía mucho, pero ahora ya cuando hemos venido y lo vamos a ver jugar es muy entretenido y apasionante. Y de Mario me gusta que de niño, siempre fue bien sociable, le gusta conocer gente, es muy alegre y le pone siempre pasión a lo que hace. Pero también el hecho de ser papá, de ser esposo, de preocuparse de su familia. Así que siempre que cuando venimos a visitarlos, vamos con ellos a los partidos, a los campeonatos y nos gusta mucho. Con mi esposo también nos gusta mucho verlo competir y ver a Steffi también cuando juegan. Nos gusta mucho.
Hi everybody, my name is Stephanie Barrientos, also known as Mario's wife. I'm actually honored when people call me that. I'm just excited for you guys to see that Mario is not only a trash talker on the courts, just kidding. That Mario is not only a pro pickleball player, say that three times. That he's also an amazing father, an amazing husband, an accountant. Mario and I met December of 2016. He slid in my DMs. JK. Well, kind of. We met 20 days after he got here from Chile, and the rest is history. I'm actually the only girl he dated. Sorry ladies, sorry Mario, but I knew he was a keeper. We've been married for 6.5 years. We have 3 beautiful children, 2 boys and our little princess. I love seeing him with our daughter. She's just daddy's little girl. It's so fun to see this like gentle side of him and not rough play all the time like he does with the boys. There's so many things I love about Mario, but the main thing that I love about him is that he's very driven. Whatever he sets his mind to, he will accomplish. Like I said, is an accountant. He graduated with his master's this year. Mario is, like you can all see, he's such a people person, is a man of the people. Outside of pickleball too. He loves helping out in any way he can, at church, service work. He's such an awesome guy. Going back to pickleball, I love going to tournaments with him and cheering him on, and I'm such an annoying like wife to his opponents, but I gotta cheer my man on, you know? Thank you all for always supporting him and showing your love on social media. Te amo, Mario.
Okay, thank you all for all those kind words and messages, and thanks to you guys, thanks to all those that were in those videos, and I really enjoy it, and it just makes my heart happy to know that you feel that way about me. So thank you, and thank you guys too. EpicBalla, thank you. Let me give a big shout out to my sponsors. You know, Gearbox Pickleball, that's one of my big sponsors, and they're just on top of the technology. You know, on the technology of the sports. Rafa Filippini, he's the owner. He's an engineer. He's crazy about it. He's literally he's all he thinks about is how do I make this better? How do I get more power? How do I get more control? His mind lives about pickleball, surrounds pickleball. There's controversy sometimes. It's a powerful paddle. It's too powerful. It's too soft. Sounds too loud. Sounds too quiet. The sport's growing, as we talked. The sports is evolving. Companies are getting on top. You know, companies want to go the extra mile to get the best technology out there, and I can sign it to you right now. Gearbox is at the top. And big shout out to Gearbox and for all the support they give me, for believing in me, and and as we talked off camera, Gearbox is really we're one. You know, our mission, my mission is their mission, and they want to grow the sport as much as I do. So that's why we make such a good pair. Big shout out to Montes Pickleball Shoes, my friends here from Utah. Okay, they're committed to the shoe. To bring in the best shoe on the market for an affordable price, and I love them. They're supportive. They wanna grow pickleball as much as I do as well. They care about the community. They care about those people that maybe don't have the opportunity to buy a shoe, to buy a Nike shoe, or to buy other shoes that are more expensive. They got you, and they're great. They really put a lot of hours into making this shoe and making it great, and I love it. Thanks Gearbox, thanks Montes Pickleball, and thanks to my family, thanks to my wife, my parents, especially my wife for putting up with me with when I get mad on the court, or you said I play with her. Hey, it took us a couple of years to play together, you know, to stop arguing after every time. Yeah, every time we play. Some people say it took us a couple breakups, but we're here. We're here. We can finally play together and get along together when we play. So I love you, Steph, and thanks for always being there with me. As I said before, my rock, and I wouldn't be here without her. And that's the truth, you know. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't do anything of what I've accomplished in pickleball without her. So thanks to her, and last, well, thanks to the community in pickleball, not only in Utah, especially in Utah, but all over the place. EpicBalla, I love you guys. Thank you for keeping that pickleball mission about community, friendship, playing with whoever shows up, just lifting people up. You know, I love that, and I think that's a great thing to do. That we gotta remember. That's right. We cannot forget about what really means to be a pickleballer. Yes. That's how I put it. So thank you guys, and I just want to say that you do a great job in the community, bringing players up and bringing the next talent, that's here in Utah, and just for my friends in Utah. Big shout out to my Polynesian community. Yeah. Okay, they're a big part of me and a big part of what I do, what I am as a person. And then big shout out to my Hispanic community. And sorry guys, but I'm gonna say this in Spanish. Yeah. Gracias a todos. Gracias por siempre estar viendo y apoyando a los jugadores que son de Sudamérica, Latinoamérica, España. Sé que todavía estamos empezando. Poco a poco, pero tenemos fuerza, tenemos garra, tenemos huevos, como se dice, para llegar ahí, jugar y ser tan bueno como cualquier otro jugador. Así que sigamos, vamos a ir con todo. And thank you guys, thank you, and I appreciate you guys having me here with you tonight.
Drop in the Kitchen, episode 5, Mario Barrientos. Hope I got that
yes,
right.
Yeah.
My guy's been to the mountaintop, but he's still looking up, and we looking up at him, and we going to cheer him on this year. EpicBalla. We on the rise.